professionally and you start looking at people where you want to be, there's still some of those personality aspects to it because, you don't want to force yourself to just be a Klingon to somebody because they think you're going to get you somewhere.
Yeah.
Like you want a mentor that has something to offer you. And so what I tell people a lot of times is try to find a mentor that has a lot of similar traits to you. Not only maybe if you similar background, like I've reached out to people I knew were veterans because I knew they would know some of what I've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to people who I knew, grew up poor, grew up in the hood, and made it to where I wanted to be so that they knew some of my struggles.
Mm-hmm.
I would even say, if you're Black, try to find a Black mentor because they're going to know your struggles, man. If you're a woman, try to find a woman mentor because they're going to know your struggles, and those struggles are real. And anyone who tells you, oh, fuck all that discount, all that bullshit, dude, all that bias in our society is real, and it's affected people of color, it's affected women, it's affected minorities, it affects poor people differently than it affects rich people. And you know what? And rich people are in their bubble too. It affects them. We all have biases. And so if you can find someone that where more of those biases against you will be eliminated, the better advice you can get from that person.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel about that, where you got to find somebody that you relate to, right? And whether it be, just like you're saying, whether it be sex, race, age, or struggle, that person also has to have some insight onto where you're trying to reach. So, if you're trying to, for instance, like you were saying earlier that you made phone calls and I want to be in the position you're in right now. That's what I mean by where you're trying to reach. So if you're listening right now, whatever goals you're trying to obtain, whatever in life you're trying to, whatever you're trying to set for yourself, whether it be health, relationship, career, family, there's somebody out there who has already done this before you, and you don't have to walk out blindly with your head down, as you said, right? You just bulling through the education system until you get to the higher education. They're like, hey, no. We're going to teach you something you haven't even experienced before. That's the kind of mentors you should be looking for. Somebody who's willing to give you something and I don't want to say for free, but freely. And not in a very, they're not quid pro quo, scratch my back, scratch yours kind of thing. So
I know, but you like all true, just being altruistic about their relationship with you.
Exactly.
Yeah, making sure that if someone's taking advantage of you, know your worth. Don't let anybody take advantage of you, because you know what? That's the kind of person you don't want to be around anyway, because they've done that.
Since you've been out, have you experienced somebody? So here you are, and I've experienced this. This is why I'm asking. Here you are, you're busting your ass. You're in school. You're making moves. You're setting up appointments that maybe your peers haven't even thought about setting up. Were there people kind of trying to ride your coattails at the same time? Like, hey, let me get in on this interview too, or hey, can you introduce me to so? Because I experienced a lot of that when I started my business.
Yeah, you'll get that, and I've had my biggest experience with. I've had people who I've worked for take advantage of me, and you straight up, flat out use me, and it's a dirty feeling. You feel like you've been wronged. You want justice, and you have been wronged.
I want justice.
Yeah. About glomming on and I've had that too. Oh, you know what? And it comes in the craziest ways, man. I've been, so at the last law firm I worked at, they had a library, and I checked out some of the books, and I was reading them on the bus ride back and forth between work. And the book is stamped with the firm's name on the outside of it. I'm sitting there on the bus, like in a book, and some lady walked up to me and tapped me on the shoulder and starts up a conversation about the law firm. Oh, you work at Davis Wright Tremaine? Yeah, I'm there temporarily. I got a contract to hire thing. Da, 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 da. And we're sitting there talking. She's like, oh, yeah, I interviewed there once. Do you know this person there? Yeah. And she whipped out her card for me to give it on to the person. I was like, man, I don't even know you. Like,
that was her open door, though.
Yeah, you know what? Not that I fault her for doing what she was doing at all. I didn't. But I'm just like, man, you didn't wait 30 seconds before you tried to get something out of me. And if you go into a relationship like that, you go up to somebody and you make it obvious that you're just trying to get something out of them, and it works both ways. You can identify it right way, and if you go into trying to network with somebody, going, well, do you know how I can get a job? Man, they're not going to fuck with you ever again.
Yeah.
You got to go in there just being like, I just want to know what you know. What insight can you give me? And trust me, later on down the line, might not right there, but later on down the line, that's going to lead to opportunities. And the more people you can do that for, the more opportunities are going to come quickly. So when you're looking for a mentor, I don't have so much advice or an experience of people trying to glom onto me and get something from me. I think we all have a story like that. And I have a story definitely of employers abusing me. But, just when you're kind of going back, when you're looking about who you want to surround yourself with, look for that little altruistic vein in their relationship with you. And also, the best way to cultivate that is have that altruistic vein in your relationship with them. When you go with them, don't try to be getting anything out of them. Just trying to go for that experience and that knowledge. Let me talk to you and that will actually lead later in the line to experiences, because they're going to come across their circle one day and they're going to go, hey, man, I got this job opening over here and we got to fill it. I just had somebody leave. And they go, you know what? I just talked to this kid, man, who wants to be there.
Yeah.
And you should give him a shot. So it's going to come without you having to ask for it. So don't ask for it. Fuck it up.
So there's a kind of essence, a taste of humility in that as well, right? You have to want something so hard and so much where you can taste it, you can see it, you can actually close your eyes and live in it. However, on the flip side, the aggression on getting it has to be smart too. And just like you're saying, very altruistic. Your intentions need to be correct. I like to talk about intentions, but you have to be humble, right? When you have the opportunity, to me, I can't speak for everybody. Humility has worked best for me. In fact, I had a job interview, my very first job, my big company with Toshiba, my job interview. They were asking me all these questions about electronics. What's a diode? How does resistors work? Blah, 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 blah. And then the questions started getting a little bit harder and a little bit harder, a little bit harder. And then I said, you know what? I don't know this answer, but I can get back to you. And he had been testing me this whole time until I said, I don't know. Instead of, he wanted to know if I was going to bullshit him, and he's like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody who says, I don't know, and that they're going to get back to me. And that was one of those moments that, I had always done that. That's not something that like, oh, now I should start doing that. But it kind of formed that mindset that people don't need somebody in their life that's going to bullshit them.
Yeah, that's true. And an employer especially, they don't want somebody they can't trust. You got to remember when you're going into a job interview, usually the person you're interviewing with might be the business owner, or it might be somebody who's put their entire career into that line of work. And they don't want to mess with people who are going to not take that seriously.
Yeah.
And, and they can read that. Like you said, he was waiting to get you there to see if you would bullshit him or not. He would know when you were bullshitting him.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be better, be honest with you. And, a lot of the times people, and I think veterans do this a lot. I think I do it a lot. And part of that came from my inadequacy feelings of, do I belong here? Have I earned it kind of thing? But it goes back to people seeing ignorance as a flaw. Ignorance is not a flaw. It just means you don't know. The flaw is allowing your ignorance to get you into trouble. And people, back to my cheesy sayings, dude. What is it? A mistake or like an error never becomes a mistake until you refuse to correct it. Like you can get things wrong and you can fail and you can say in an interview, I don't know, and you're going to be all right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the people get wrapped up with, especially in the job process, if we're talking about transitioning and you're in the career field, you get nervous going into that interview saying, man, I just want to knock every answer out of the park.
Yeah.
And what I try to tell people, just from my experience going through it, I've been through a ton of interviews now. The best thing you can do is be a genuine person in that interview. Just be genuinely yourself. And the reason you're in that interview is because you have the skills and background necessary for the position. They want to know if you're a person that they have in their company. You don't have to impress them. It might be different. Like you said, you're a technical job. They're going to ask you some technical questions. But and that comes into prepare yourself for the job interview. Do your research. Know who the company you're trying to work for. Know what they do. Kind of run through your head how you would answer a question given to you. And you can go online and find 1,000,001 interview questions and prepare and answer it. But the best advice I can give is be genuine. First off, you're not going to lie, and people are going to have a tendency to try to lie and bullshit and make themselves sound better than they are. That is noticed. You can tell immediately when someone's bullshitting. Almost immediately. I mean, you could be the best liar in the world and people can still find you out. And also what it does is it calms you down. When you're not trying to come up with an answer and you're just speaking from the heart and speaking genuinely, you come off a lot clearer and more succinct. And you're going to get better answers that way. So like when I'm helping people prepare for job interviews, and I've done this a few times and just kind of coached them up on it, I just say, like, have a conversation with the person. You just have answer, question and answer, question and answer. That's all you're doing. And people get wrapped up because it means a lot. And our primitive brains is still telling us, this is the freaking zebra you have to kill to eat tonight.
Yeah.
And so all the stress of not killing that zebra and not eating piles in our brain. Our brain doesn't go, oh, man, it's just a job interview. You're going to walk out of here still alive. No, our brain goes, oh, shit, there's something scary happening here. Are we going to die?
Yeah.
That's how your brain registers that stress. And that can freak people out. And so I just try to tell them, if you're genuine, that stress is going to fade away a lot faster. You're going to be a lot less nervous. And also practicing helps it. But yeah, don't be fake. Be genuine in all your interactions, and people are going to see it. And don't, like I'm saying, I know this from personal experience. I felt inadequate where I was getting to. I grew up, before we moved to Podunk, nowhere in New Mexico, I grew up in the hood in Oakland. And, not nice neighborhood,
Yeah.
And we were poor there, and we were poor when we moved, and we stayed poor for a long time. And, you come into these situations where you feel our society has told you don't belong there, man. And when you're going in for this interview for this new job that you thought you had no chance of interviewing for, or you're finally achieving that thing you set out to achieve, it's going to creep into your head, man, I don't deserve this. I don't belong here. Because like what you keyed on earlier, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this right. Man, forget all that and just, I try to tell people, what can they tell you? No, you're in the exact same position you were before you walked in there.
Right? Hey, that's 1,000%. Hey, 1,000%. What? So you talked about we keep kind of touching on the word inadequate, right? We've both have said at some point we felt inadequate, and you're now in a position where you're able to make changes in people's lives by your actions and how much you care about your job. In fact, recently you were spotlighted in the news publication locally, recognizing your hard work and the dedication to the City Council legislative.
City Council.
Yeah, and when we were talking over the week, trying to get to each other. You said that now you're actually also